Good morning, my YouTubers. This is Danny Dresky for the going through the my Burns and Allen VHS tapes. The Burns and Allen, known as George Burns and Gracie Allen, one of the best known husbands and wives comedy team of all times. Since Burns and Allen started in vaudeville during the 1920s, and then they started in films in the 30s and the 40s on radio also. And then in the 1950s, they started their television show series of Burns and Allen. George Burns was a good straight man, smokes a lot of cigars. During of his later career, he made a lot of movies in the 70s, like one of the Oh God movies, The Sunshine Boys, and Going in Style. Even in the 80s that he did like Oh God, You're a Devil and You're 18 Again. George Burns even appeared on The Muppet Show during the 1970s. Yep. He was born in 1896, died at the age of 100 in 1996. George Burns was just a legendary comedian. And Gracie Allen was born in 1902, and she died in 1964 at the age of 62. And that's how, during of her career, she retired the actor in the late 1950s of Burns and Allen. And I like I like all these episodes for the third season, because I like the neighbors in the series was played by B. Bernadette, Fred Clark, and even Harry Von Zell was like announcer. The earlier in the seasons has like Bill Goodwin announcing of the B.F. Goodrich Tires. I think it was a Carnation. Harry Von Zell did B.F. Goodrich and Carnation. And after when Fred Clark left the series, it was been replaced by Larry Keating as Harry Morgan in the series. Let's start with this first tape of the Burns and Allen collection. And this is the 1985 release of this from RCA Columbia Pictures Home Video. Like one of these episodes were from season 3 of Burns and Allen. For instance, like this one with Silky Thompson, Gracie writes My Life with George Burns, and Wedding Bell Blues with Jack Benny was a guest star. The one with Gracie thinks to George were not legally married. Show you what this tape looks like. I only like this tape for the past 20 years. God, I love Burns and Allen. They're better than Lucy and Desi. This is printed on the second week of 1986. As soon as I get this tape back in there. Now we got here like a bunch of these the Columbia House tapes ones. I'm trying to get the tape set like from Columbia TriStar Home Video, because I used to borrow that once from my friend Nolan Carmel from his mom way back in 2000 when I was only a teenager. These are the ones from the Columbia House Video Library had those series. Yep. In this one it has Gracie having George portrait painted. Gracie and Branch hire two gigolos to take them out. And then the one with Show and Lennon in this one, like Silky Thompson, Gracie writes My Life with George Burns. That was the one with that was the one with Show and Lennon comes to George and Gracie's house and put their foot down. Show you what the tape looks like. Back in these days, the Columbia House Video Library had those Burns and Allen tapes. At the time, in 1991, it was by RCA Columbia Pictures Home Video. A little bit before they changed the name to Columbia TriStar Home Video. Now the next one we got here, like another Burns and Allen Columbia House tape. It has George Little Secret, Jealous Husband, and Master Moocher's Cycle. Excuse me. Show you what the tape looks like. Gracie, say goodnight. Boy, these Burns and Allen shows are like watching these old Three Stooges shorts, like these curly classics and some early Shemp ones. The fourth Burns and Allen tape we have here that has Harry Loves Gracie, Stay Neighbor Stay, and Wedding Bell Blues with Jack Benny was in that episode. Trying to convince the Gracie you're just legally married to George. The one we have on the first Burns and Allen 1985 VHS. And did you know these Burns and Allen episodes from the Columbia House tapes, they do cut out these commercials, these commercial advertisements because of the copyrights. But the ones from the Columbia, the ones from RCA Columbia and the Columbia TriStar ones that has it uncut. I think some of those episodes on those tapes has with those commercials uncut. Some of them are probably edited. The next one we have here is A Tax Refund, A Cigarette Girl, and Train Ride. Some of the familiar character actors were on the Burns and Allen show during the 1950s. See what the tape looks like. Here's tape number 6 of the Burns and Allen series. That is Gracie Plays Cupid, A Swamp Party, and Burglar Score. Yep, one of those familiar character actors were in these Burns and Allen episodes. Like, gotta be James Farron, even Bob Sweeney, Nestor Penver, even Vanna Fulton, Disney voice actress. She appeared in few of the Burns and Allen episodes. We're lucky I don't have no I Married Joan episodes, the ones with Joan Davis and Jim Backus used to do back in the 50s. I don't care about those series. Well, in that time when Jim Backus used to do like Mr. Magoo voice during the 1950s, when he used to be on I Married Joan series. In this one, I think we have here like Perry and Pete's Gracie's cousin sneak thieves. Gracie during a picture without George. Gracie trying to get George to go on trip east. Yep. I got these Burns and Allen tapes when I was in New York, when I was in the thrift stores in the past. Some of them I bought some of them I bought from eBay, of course. One of those Burns and Allen tapes I got back in Queens, New York, was at the Salvation Army thrift store when I used to go to Steinway Street every week. When I couldn't go to my thrift store in Jamaica during like the 3 months suspension. Now this next one we have now, the last Burns and Allen tape we have here, has Martin buys an iron deer. Gracie thinks George needs glasses. Gracie helps Martin get a CPA account. And Gracie gets a jury summons. Yep. Boy, these Burns and Allen show episodes are just funny from season 3 and 4, and they show that right on the antenna, the antenna TV. Same thing for having a Jack Benny episodes. And did you know during the early 20th century, George Burns was a good friend to the comedian Jack Benny. They used to be in vaudeville a lot of times, and that's how Jack Benny and George Burns just became friends. Even like Gracie became friends with Jack Benny's wife, Mary Livingston. Yep. And Jack Benny has a daughter named Joan Benny. In one of my future videos, I'm going to show you my Jack Benny VHS collection. You know how much I like Jack Benny. During my previous videos, I showed you my Bob Hope movie collection, or something like that. Well, that's included the my Burns and Allen VHS collection. And I'll see you next time for more of these, for more of the My VHS Tape series. Until then, stay safe, and Gracie, say goodnight. Good night.